It's another mock trade for the Cubs. We're going to have some fun today. There's absolutely zero. I mean, if we could say negative, I would, but it's -0 rumors about the Cubs being able to trade for Garrett Crochet from the White Sox. I don't understand it. I really don't know why the Cubs are not in this conversation. They want starting pitching. The White Sox are the White Sox, and they need a complete overhaul. And they want position players, and they want prospect position players. The Cubs have plenty of prospect position players, and they need pitching. So why wouldn't this be a fit? They've done trades before. Jose Quintana for Eloy Jimenez and Dylan Cease back in 2017. There's a few others, I'm sure, but that's the first one that comes to mind, and that one is the most famous of a lot of Cubs and White Sox trades. So why not? I don't know. Feels like there should be a dark horse conversation about this, but before we do, as always, if you're just joining in for the first time, these are mock trades that I'm doing every single week here in the 2024-25 offseason. To get through the offseason, to have a little bit of fun, we're doing it on Trade Values, Baseball Trade Values, the website, as you can see up here on your screen. And then on the right-hand side, I'm going to look up some other things for some research. We're going to do three things. One, we're going to look at a proposed trade on Baseball Trade Values that we like, that I like, that I'm going to say I like that one. We're going to look at another proposed one that I'm going to honestly laugh at. Not the person. We're not laughing at people. We're just laughing at the fact that Baseball Trade Values actually thinks this would be a like-for-like trade, because there are some issues with Baseball Trade Values that we'll get into here in a second, but it's pretty accurate for the most part. And then we will make one, and the make one today, again, is Garrett Crochet going to the Cubs, so we'll see what that's like. Now, the last thing here, in case you didn't know, last time I did say you can propose one, and thank you to Mike Ploman, who is going to be our proposed trade today, and I want to get what you guys think about it as well. But if you email me, Kyle@setupman.net, you have to email me, Kyle@setupman.net. I'm going to sift through all of the proposed trades, and I'm going to show on the next episode which one I think is the most unique, the most interesting of the bunch. And Mike, you are our winner today, so we will get to that before I make my proposed trade. So let's get to it. First of all, we're going to take one. Let's take one, and I'm going to look at, in case you're not used to Baseball Trade Values, we're here in the trade boards right now, and we have Key Search Cubs. And the take one that I'm going to have, there's a few out here that were looking pretty meaty on the bone. By the way, Mike Ploman, I don't know if you and Nick are friends. I know Nick as well, and I thought it was funny that you both had the same proposal. Mike gave me two proposals. He gave me Harry Ford from the Mariners and for Nico Hoerner. That was kind of funny to see that you both had the same one, and Harry Ford, just so everyone knows, we'll just take a look really quick. He's a minor leaguer. In case you were interested on this one, we're not taking this one. I'm not laughing at it. I'm not making it. I am just showing you, because this is two people now sending me this trade. It's a minor league catcher who has a 822 career OPS in the minors for Nico Hoerner. The value on him is actually higher than Nico Hoerner. And of course, we're looking at these values from a surplus standpoint. That's what Baseball Trade Values shows us. They take this number. If we just look at this really quick, I'll click on this one. They take the number of the actual field value that this player has, and then they subtract it from essentially their salary. So Harry Ford has no salary. He's a minor leaguer. So he's at a 21.4 surplus is what is left over. It's 21.4 from his AFV or his median. Both are typically the same number. And then his surplus ends up being 21.4, which is what they take a look at. Now, Nico Hoerner has a AFV of 43, so his value is much higher. But because of his salary, 23.6, his surplus and leftover, the median is 19.4. So for that reason, Baseball Trade Value says this is a like-for-like trade. In fact, the Cubs get a little bit more value because they're offloading some salary. I would argue that. I would say that Nico Hoerner has a very attractive contract. So for that reason, I wouldn't want to give him up just for a prospect catcher. That's me. He's a 4-WAR player, 4+ WAR player over the last couple of years. For what I like for the Cubs, proposed by Miss Dujaba, Owen Casey and Matt Shaw for Kyle Tucker and Framber Valdez of the Astros. Now, everyone and their mom who loves and just gets so teary-eyed over seeing prospects leave, I'm sorry, but I love this because it's too legitimate. I think Framber Valdez is an all-star. I know Kyle Tucker is an all-star. That is, I don't see how the Astros do this deal, because if we look at it, once again, the actual value, according to the surplus, the Cubs would be giving up 39.3 in Owen Casey and Matt Shaw, but there's no actual value because they've never played in a major league game. So we're really just basing out the surplus, whereas Framber Valdez and Kyle Tucker have a actual value of over 70, and then which I think is extremely conservative. I actually don't agree with that. Kyle Tucker, if you look at his numbers, let's just look at Kyle Tucker. I was listening to Sam and Matt the other day on the Locked On podcast. Kyle Tucker only played in 78 games, and was nearly a 5-WAR player according to Baseball Reference. That's crazy. That is absolutely nuts. 23 home runs in just 78 games this year. That's how good Kyle Tucker is, and he's in his prime. I think he's got way higher value than just 40.2. Anyway, so I like that one. I don't think the Astros would go for it, but I like it. One that I will laugh at because, once again, it's not the person proposing it. It's the fact that Baseball Trade Values actually thinks this is a like-for-like. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and cash for Owen Casey. What? Huh? Owen Casey is a 15.4. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., according to this, is an 8.7 just because he has such a larger contract, but his actual value is 38.4. Yeah, all day long, people. All day long, I'm taking this. But the Blue Jays are not. They're just not doing it. Okay, let's propose the trade that Mike proposed. And the reason that I thought this was interesting, in fact, I'll just go over here. The reason I thought this was interesting was because I just want to know what you guys think of it. Honestly, I don't think that the Cubs would do it. I don't think I would want them to do it, but I just want to know what you guys think, because the controversial part of this is that it's two players that the Cubs have already had on their team as recently as 2023 and 2024. So what Mike proposed was Hayden Wesneski, okay, traded to, there we go. All right, traded to the Yankees, who traded him to the Cubs for Scott Efros. That's the ironic thing of all this. And then Cody Bellinger, who just keeps on popping up in the trade rumors after a couple years to the Yankees from the Cubs. So you have him going to the Yankees. You have Hayden Wesneski going to the Yankees, which basically comes out to a negative total value. And then the Yankees send over two former Cubs in Marcus Stroman and Mark Leiter Jr. There we go. And from a baseball trades value perspective, this ends up being a like-for-like trade. And the Cubs get a reliever back and a starting pitcher, which they're after. The Yankees get a former top prospect in their organization and Cody Bellinger, who they've been chasing for a while. I don't know. I don't think it would happen. I don't really want it to happen. I think I would want some fresh new blood. I would want someone with maybe a little bit of a higher ceiling than these two guys for Hayden Wesneski plus Cody Bellinger. Although Cody Bellinger's contract is the big thing that you're just trying to offload, and that's essentially what Mike said. He said this is really more of just trying to offload payroll. This isn't really a whole thing of I'm trying to get a bunch in return. But Marcus Stroman has a decent-sized contract as well, so it's really not a huge payroll play. What are your thoughts? Let me know. All right, now let's get to the fun part, Garrett Crochet. Cubs get Garrett Crochet. So we've got Garrett Crochet listed right here. Let's go ahead and trade him to the Cubs. And again, the White Sox need position players. Now, the White Sox, according to the Bleacher Report, have the 13th ranked top farm system in baseball. And this was as of end of September of 2024. As you'll see, their top 10 prospects pitcher. What is that? 5 or 6 of their top 10 prospects are pitchers. Then they have a middle infielder, a catcher, an outfielder, and another middle infielder. So they need position players. And there's not a single guy on their team that you can expect to still be on the team in 2 or 3 years that played on the Major League roster this last year, right? Because if they're serious about getting better, none of those guys actually help the team. And Luis Robert, who has high value, probably will eventually get traded as well. And Garrett Crochet has already been said that he's gone. Like a lot of experts are saying he's already gone. Red Sox have been in the mix, a few others. I was interested. It was really surprising me that Buster Olney just released an article on ESPN, and it was talking about the top suitors for Garrett Crochet, and the Cubs aren't even on there. I just don't understand why the Cubs wouldn't be an option because of how much value they have from a position player perspective in their minor leagues, and that's what the White Sox want. They've come out and they've said, we want position players. So if we just look at positions and we say, let's just say all, and levels. That's what we want. We want minors. And we just organize this thing from a surplus standpoint. The top are Cade Horton, Matt Shaw, Jefferson Rojas, Moises Ballesteros, Owen Casey, Cam Smith. Basically, take your pick of those from just a position players. The White Sox have plenty of pitching. I don't think that they are going to be as attracted to Cade Horton to trade a pitcher for a pitcher. So I think it's going to be 3 of these guys. It's going to be Matt Shaw, it's going to be Jefferson Rojas, Moises Ballesteros, Owen Casey, Cam Smith, and maybe James Triantos, but I think he's probably lower on the list. So from a surplus standpoint, what we're trying to meet here is 42.2. I think from the Cubs' perspective, it hurts. It hurts to think about giving away a Matt Shaw, a Moises Ballesteros, an Owen Casey, or a Cam Smith. That hurts, but guess what? That's the only place that the Cubs could pull from right now if you're looking at even considering this trade. The other would be Pete Crow Armstrong, and he's untouchable. Now that he's in the majors, now that he's getting the reps, there's no way. Yes, there's a crowded outfield, but I think you look at him and you say he's completely untouchable from the Cubs' perspective right now. Maybe they would shock the White Sox and say, yeah, Pete Crow Armstrong is in play. And then maybe you just do a straight-up Pete Crow Armstrong for Garrett Crochet because Pete Crow Armstrong has that much value. Maybe throw in a James Triantos as well, and you've got yourself a deal. I don't know, but I would be shocked if they did that, given how much success that Pete Crow Armstrong had this year. So it sucks, but like that's what we got to look at. Matt Shaw to the White Sox. Ouch. And then I would say because the Cubs need a catcher as early as this year, and there's been just crap on the free agent market, and there's a lot of speculation about catchers, but Logan O'Hoppe, who everyone keeps talking about, I don't think he's on the move because the Angels are acting like they're buyers right now. But then again, they did just get Travis d'Arnaud, so maybe he is on the move. I don't know. You could argue either way. And then the A's haven't been as open to trades as we thought. So Shane Langeliers, I don't know if he's as available as everyone thinks. So I think Moises Ballesteros stays on the Cubs. And then if you can convince them to do Jefferson Rojas, I think that's your next best bet. But I think they want a little bit more closer to ready talent. So I think it's going to be Owen Casey or it's going to be Cam Smith. And that hurts. That hurts to even look at. But that does the job. Add in a little bit of cash. Maybe add in a major league ready pitcher to replace. Okay, I don't know who that might be. Let's just look at that really quick here. How about Hayden Wesneski actually? How about you just throw in Hayden Wesneski, and now you've got more talent going to the White Sox or more surplus going to the White Sox than you do coming to the Cubs. I don't like it. I'm making it, but I don't like it. Especially in today's age where guys like Garrett Crochet, young, flame-throwing, talented prospects, leave a team, get injured, and then you see all the things that they gave up. Look at what happened to Chris Sale after he left the White Sox, went to the Red Sox. It was a disaster. It scares me to think about giving away a guy who's lighting up, Matt Shaw, lighting up the Olympic scene right now for the USA. Owen Casey, who, when I talked to Porter Hodge, if you missed that interview, it's on our YouTube channel. I'll put it in the description. He says Owen Casey is the number one guy that Cubs fans should be excited about. And then Hayden Wesneski, who still has a lot of value on this team. That makes me really, really nervous. What do you think? What would you propose instead? Again, if you have any other trades that you would like to propose, go ahead and send them. Kyle@setupman.net. Kyle@setupman.net. Go ahead and send it over. Would love to see what you've got. That's going to do it.